In today's video, my friend and I have to survive 100 days in a zombie apocalypse on Mars. And we have 3 objectives. First, build a base to withstand hordes of zombies, equipped with air filtration systems and sustainable gardens to grow food. Second, use Mars rovers to scavenge for anything to help us survive. And third, fight off the endless hordes of zombies on this dangerous planet. Will we make it? Will we survive? Tune in to find out. On day 1, I woke up in my base. We were preparing a rocket to launch us into space, and we also had a lot of supplies to survive on Mars. Earth has been overrun by the zombies too much, and it's basically a lost battle. Even our own fortified base is crumbling slowly, and the zombies are getting in. We put all our resources into making these rockets, and it's time to blast off into Mars. I get in, and the 20-second timer starts. And just like that, we're leaving for Mars. Hopefully it's not going to be too hostile of a place because it's very barren and nothing practically grows there. But once I reach Mars, I start falling in a safety capsule to the ground. And getting out of it, I feel the gravity has changed. I waited for my friend to land as well, and then we started running. But it didn't take long for us to see zombies here as well. We knew they even reached Mars, but the cold atmosphere here is supposed to make them less mobile. To get away from this horde, we also see a cave opening and go down. We got some special glowstone torches that are supposed to work even when there's no oxygen. The horde we saw earlier catched up to us even in the cave, so we had to go a lot deeper. These were the cave systems of Mars, and we didn't know yet what to expect from them. But I saw a bunch of ore and started mining it for us to get a head start. But then I saw my friend barely keeping the zombies back, so I took out my blaster and started shooting them. The shots will attract a lot more zombies, so we have to be careful being underground for too long. One wrong turn and we can get trapped here very easily. And jumping down deeper, we get to see some green plant life. It can grow on Mars only deep underground, I guess because the atmosphere is too cold up there. I explore a bit more and get attacked by a tiny slime which comes out of a block I mine. So even caves have some type of life here, and that is good for us. But for now we decide to go back up and leave this place. And back on the surface I see a good spot for our Mars base. It's in an open place, but there's a pack of zombies right on it. I shoot them with my blaster, and luckily we brought a lot of bullets with us, so for now ammo won't be a problem. But what is a problem is nighttime. The temperatures drop a lot and we have to be somewhere safe where zombies won't get us. There's also more of them coming out at night, so we make a quick shelter to keep us safe. I make a crafting table and then a chest for us to store some of the supplies we brought. And then get to crafting a coal generator. This thing will produce power for us, but it will use coal. And right now we don't have any solar panels up or anything like that to get power from the sun. So coal is the only way. And then I start crafting a circuit fabricator. This thing is basically what we will use to craft all our other machinery to help us survive. Using a few wires, I get our coal generator hooked up, and yep, it's all running smoothly. And then the next thing I do is craft a compressor. It will compress the ore we just mined into materials that we can use to craft actually good and useful stuff. I get to smelting some iron ore we got from the Mars mines, and then place the ingots into the compressor. And as it's cooking, we are finally making progress. My friend places 2 beds for us to sleep for the first time here, but it turns out that you can only sleep in pressurized rooms, so we'll have to get an oxygen supply going inside the base at some point. But as we wait over the night and get out, we can finally begin exploring the Mars surface. The zombies are spread out everywhere, but luckily for that we came prepared and packed 2 Mars buggies. I set up a fueling station and a fuel loader. Fill it up with a few fuel canisters we got with us, and my friend brings in one of the buggies. I wonder for a while why it's not working, but then remember that I have to connect the fuel loader to the coal generator. But as I do that, I notice that there are a bit too many zombies creeping up on us already. Since we're on Mars and there's nothing here but frozen desert, I guess the zombies got crazy line of vision now and can spot us from miles away. And as we get back to work, I have to replace the loader to a better spot. My friend places the buggy again, and then we did it. It's refueling its tank. It'll take a few minutes for us to get ready, But while my friend is setting up his buggy, I decide to go for a little drive and explore anything interesting. And from what I see, this place is huge. It's also all barren and there's hardly anything here. But that is until I come across a meteorite. These things are small but can do a lot of damage. They're also hot when they just land, so me not getting burnt by standing close to it meant that it was here for a while. But then I come across something really cool. It was frozen ice blocks. I didn't have a bucket to collect it, so I just left it and went back to base because it was getting late. And I also didn't want to waste the ice blocks in case I don't collect it properly. But as I got back and parked my buggy close to my friends, we were already getting overrun by the zombies again. They seemed to wander in packs, and with their line of sight reaching for miles now, it's pretty dangerous to be stranded here without some type of wall or a shelter which you can hide behind. I then jumped on the roof of the base and we saw that the zombies were encircling us from all sides. The sun was going down and I guess they heard all our shots. We would have to just sit over the night behind the walls and hope they eventually go away. But 2 little zombies managed to get through the walls and inside. I dealt with them and then we waited until daytime. The horde still surrounded our base, so we made a daring dash towards the buggies. They were refueling overnight, so they were ready to drive right away, and we led the horde around our base away from here. But on the road, a giant warning sign starts flashing inside my helmet. My tank ran out of oxygen. We were away from base, but luckily my friend shared some of his with me. This would have been the end because we were too far away from the base, so my friend came in with an actual clutch. The zombies were also surrounding us from every side again, so we decided to keep on moving. Until we come across a dungeon. Mars' surface sometimes has giant holes that lead underground. Jumping down them is easy as there is less gravity, but that doesn't mean there's no fall damage. Although it's less than back on Earth, there is still a bit of damage whenever you don't land safely. And I don't know who built these dungeons or when, but they are actually really dark and have a bunch of chests inside them. This is a really good find as I get a lot of food and oil canisters. I even find a pair of Dash boots. This armor is really strong and a lot better than the current one I'm wearing. But Dash is a really rare mineral here. And then we see an opening into a cave. This place is deep underground and looks like another cave system rich with minerals. It's great that we came across it as we'll need a lot of iron and copper to build the life support machine we need back at base. But then we get attacked by an evolved skeleton. He has a spacesuit as well. It's my first time seeing a mob other than a zombie here, so this is something new. And going deeper, we finally reach bedrock. This place is deep, and I decide to go back up to the surface as we got enough minerals for now. And as I climb up from the dungeon, I see that the zombies are closing in. There's a lot of them here, and because we're not close to the base, there's no point in fighting them and wasting ammo. So we just drive off. And as I'm back, I craft a lot of fences. We need to put up a perimeter around the base, and the best way to do it is with electric fencing. This way, whenever the zombies run into it, they'll take damage and die. It's an awesome auto-farming method, so the base will never get overrun by them. And I spent a lot of time putting it up around the base while my friend kept watch on the roof with his rifle. Whenever we finish the perimeter, this whole area will be our base and we can start building more facilities. I also got a terraformer machine with me from back on Earth, and with it I can make this whole land green again. So it will have water, grass and also trees. But for it I'll need a lot of energy. And as we finish digging up the ground to an even level, we are looking at a clean compound on Mars. Although we aren't done with the machines that will make it a livable habitat for us just yet. We also build a ramp on the edge for our buggies. They're pretty good at climbing blocks, so the staircase is a perfect driveway which we can always use and don't let the zombies get in through. But now it's time for us to craft some solar panels. This whole thing is a bit complicated, so skipping the boring stuff, I place a diamond, some redstone, and also silicone together into the fabricator. Power it up using the coal generator, and also place some lapis lazuli. The end result is a blue wafer, which is a part of the solar panel. So combining it with glass blocks and also wiring at the bottom, I get a solar panel. I make a bunch more of them. And then it's time to combine 6 of them to create a single solar panel. I will need a lot of these as I want to have a lot of electricity, but right now crafting a single one is a big task. But combining it with compressed steel we got from the compressor and also more wiring and a copper circle of some sort, we finally get an advanced solar panel. It is simply awesome, and placing it down, it auto-adjusts to the sun's position right now. When it's nighttime, it points the solar panels to the ground so that they would not collect dust particles. And building an advanced version instead of a normal one will save us time, as this one is more efficient at collecting more power. I connect the panel to the main power and check one of the machines. It's collecting energy, and when I take away the coal from the coal generator, I see that the machine is still getting power. This means it's now using the solar panel, and that is big progress. But then my friend says that he wants us to race the buggies for a prize. I accept the challenge and we head out of the base. We stop and he places a starting line. We will race from this point going in a straight line. My oxygen supply is pretty low, so this is a big stake I'm putting on the line. And as we start driving, I see a horde on the other side and take out my gun to shoot it, but I accidentally hit my friend's car and pack it. It didn't get destroyed, but we do have to go back to base to place it on the fueling station, as it can only be launched from it. As we clear the horde and my friend is safe, I take the car and start driving back to base. It's gonna be easier for me to carry it back than him, because he already has to walk there. And as I get back, I climb up the ramp we made and park my buggy beside the dock, place his buggy to refuel again, and wait for him to return. There's also a lot of zombies behind the fence, but now because it's electric, they're taking damage. And as I start working on the base again, I don't notice how there's a big horde surrounding us. We must have got a lot of attention racing just now, as this horde was huge and coming from every direction. I also get to really low oxygen levels, and with half a heart left have to replace my tanks. Luckily we still have a few in the chest, but we're gonna have to make an oxygen support system soon if we want to survive any longer. But right now my priority is fighting off the horde. We can't have too many zombies surrounding the base, as that will make more noise and even more zombies will come this way. And at one point I ran out of ammo. I had to tell my friend to drop some of his on the ground. But once I got it and reloaded the gun, I continued fighting. Waves this big are really deadly if you aren't well equipped, so I'm glad we got a lot of ammo for these blasters. But then I saw the Zombie King. He had a lot of health, and was just taking all the shots I blasted at him with ease. These waves usually had a leader with them, and we finally found one of these guys. But once we got him, we only needed to clean up a few more zombies left over, and then I headed back to base. We survived this wave but wasted a lot of ammo, so building up better base defenses before the next wave was our next task. I crafted some more chests and placed them to store all the valuable resources we gathered, and then I began crafting an oxygen collector. These things need a lot of power and also green leaves to collect oxygen from, but because we got the solar panels already built and we also got a bunch of oak saplings, seeds and other stuff with us on the rocket, we could now craft a steady oxygen supply. Also perfect timing as our supply was getting a bit low. Planting the leaves and checking the oxygen output levels, we were getting a bit out. And this was really awesome news. We now needed a lot more of these oxygen collectors around the base because you need a lot of them to power up this whole place and create a barrier for Earth-like oxygen levels. But I run out of wires and decide to finish it the next day. This whole project would take a lot of our time as the logistics behind these machines are complicated. We need enough oxygen output to power up another machine, and that's all I knew. But now crafting an oxygen bubble distributor, this was the machine that would create a breathable area around our base. I hooked it up to the grid but it didn't work for some reason. And then I remembered that I totally forgot about the gas tubing. Each of these machines needs a wire for the power and another one to transport the collected oxygen. Needless to say, this whole setup took me a lot of time to do and my head still hurts. But having it all connected, we saw the first air bubble appearing. It's supposed to grow into huge size and cover the whole base. But for some reason our machine stopped working and the bubble disappeared. I checked and it meant we weren't getting enough oxygen. So we had to set up even more collector machines. But once I got it hooked up again and the bubble appeared again, it got to a big size and then stopped working again. This time we didn't have enough power, so as you guessed it, we had to make another solar panel. But after a quick fix, we were back on again. And yeah, the bubble would expand and inside we can actually breathe without the oxygen tanks. That's really good as now we'll waste the oxygen tank supplies only when we go out. And we can also refill them with this machine, which is also really good. Going out of the circle without our gear on would damage us immediately, so we had to be careful about that. But overall the bubble was great, and we could set up a bunch of them for the whole base whenever we'd have more materials, as this was a huge task already for us. After waiting for a brand new day, we decided to go out again, and I got a few ammo mags from one of the chests. We got in the buggies as they were recharging the whole night and then drove off. This time we wanted to find something interesting again, but saw nothing but zombies. We then saw a big crater and decided to ride off it. The gravity made us get some really awesome air, and climbing up we actually found some frozen water again. We broke it and the water started flowing. Luckily, we were now prepared and had buckets to collect it. This would be really useful for a future farm to grow bread and survive without the canned food we find in dungeons. There were a lot of zombies around us, but shooting them all down, I even got to train my long-range shooting. And as we were done collecting the water, we got back into the rovers and drove off. Until we came across something interesting. There was a green orb on the ground, and at first sight I thought it was a meteorite, but in reality it was actually an egg. My friend also gave me an antenna he crafted, and now we had long distance communication. It was really small, and I fitted it on top of my helmet. But defending my friend while he mined the meteorite, we then found out that to hatch it you had to break it with your bare hands. So when we did it, a slimy friend appeared. I broke my egg and a blue little guy appeared. I named him Dirk. There was also another pack of zombies nearing, so we had to shoot it off so they didn't kill these new little pets we got. But as it was getting late, we got back on the rovers. Nighttime is pretty dangerous, so being in the rover is the safest place, especially since big hordes come out at night. We kept driving until the sun came up again, but then I lost my friend. I stopped and got out to look for him on the horizon. He was also not responding to the radio, so I didn't know what was happening. But then I saw him. While waiting for him, a bunch of zombies encircled us again, but he showed me that he found some cave and inside a chest with a grappling hook. It was really awesome how he could maneuver the space now, but when he gave me my hook, I couldn't do it for some reason. He said that I needed string, but I didn't have any.
We're getting run over, soldier. Keep your ground. Oh, they're coming from every side. I gotta keep my cool. Gotta reload my gun as well really soon. Oh, there's so many of them. They're coming from every side. It's insane. I hope I have enough ammo.
And while fighting off the zombie attack, I accidentally shot the Mars rover. I quickly collected it, but this meant that someone of us would have to get back to base on foot, and it was a long distance away.
Okay, there's a bit too many of them now. I'm panicking a little. They just don't stop coming. I really hope I have enough ammo because this is quite insane. I have to reload again. Okay, let's get these guys down. My oxygen is also getting pretty low.
As I finished off the first pack, another came from the side, and in there was a zombie called Dr. Zomboss. He had an insane amount of health, and we guessed he was the general of this horde. I spent a lot of time trying to bring him down, and even had to use my sword when I ran out of ammo. He also sent out his little minions, which did a lot of damage too. But once we brought him down, my oxygen level became too low. We were fighting for too long, and I didn't notice my tank beginning to go empty. I quickly got into the rover and drove to base, leaving my friend stranded. We decided that I'd take the rover because I needed to get back to the base fast. We made an oxygen-rich area there with the machine, so getting there would save me from this death. And as I got near the base, I was left with only one heart as I entered the oxygen bubble. This was so close, it was insane. I was so far away from the base, it's a miracle I made it back. But while waiting for my friend, I decided to improve the base. First would be to place a rooftop over the main house. And then we started placing the glass for where our crops would grow. The oxygen worked by being contained in confined spaces. So this sun house would have its doors inside the oxygen bubble. And with no other holes in the building, it will fill up with breathable air as well. And while my friend planned how we would build the glass building, I also built a small garage for our rovers. The garage with the fueling station should have its own building, and having a roof over the rovers would be awesome as well. And then I just spent a ton of time rebuilding the base. We had an electrical fence to ward off any zombies from the compound, an air bubble for prolonged survival, solar panels for energy, a fueling station for the buggies, as well as a farm on the way which would give us all the food we need to survive here. I also made a second floor to the main base as our first floor was getting a bit crowded with all the chests, and we also would need space to place our beds. We'd also need to place more solar panels around the base and set up another air bubble or even two around the compound to get it all into the breathable air area. But that would require so much iron, it'd be a really big job. So for now, we'd make do. And while I was placing the windows on the first floor, I heard a loud horde of zombies. So loud that I could even hear them from the vacuum of space. And going out, I saw them all. It was a surprise attack on our base. I guessed that spending days here without going out and just improving everything would eventually bring their attention. But not this many. The battle was ruthless, as so many came. Luckily we had all the defenses we'd need and also a big stack of ammo, but their numbers were still huge, and enough to overrun this base if we didn't keep our cool.
And for a quick recap, we took off into space using a rocket launched from planet Earth, landed on Mars in a safety capsule, and when I got out I saw that the gravity was much lower. We started mining for so many materials and also fought off so many zombies to finally start building a base. It was our safety hub, and we also had buggies which we roamed Mars with and explored its surface, uncovering different dungeons and stuff like that. And we also defended the base against really big zombie waves, which was really awesome. And we also made a self-sustainable farm by making a garden, making solar panels and everything like that.
And eventually, we defeated them all, at least for now. If you made it this far into the video, then go ahead and subscribe. Leave a comment on what should happen in the next episode. It was really fun surviving on Mars, so if you liked it as well, then drop a like under the video. And I hope I'll see you in the next one.